Herbert waited in line to order a cold-cut combo sub sandwich from Sublime Subs, located a few blocks from the office. Today he wore his favorite tie that he had custom made online. The tie had llamas littered up and down. He thought of llamas because Joanne had a calendar full of them for each month of the year. Plus, he really liked Joanne and how she smiled at him from across the room. Herbert wished more than anything that his early baldness didn't happen so soon, or his body wasn't disproportioned. Button-up dress shirts were a nightmare. He once woken in the middle of the night panting because in his dream a button popped off when he exhaled and shot her glasses off her face.
"Hello, sir. What can we get started for you?"
A young high school student asked through grinning teeth.
Yes. I'd like a cold-cut combo on wheat bread with lettuce, tomato, onion, and mayo, please,"
Herbert exclaimed proudly. The two high school girls bit their tongues to sustain their laughter and made his foot-long sandwich. When he walked away after tipping them $5, they giggled.
"They must really think my tie is hilarious,"
he thought. Usually people tend to make a mockery out of poor Herbert. But another reason the llama tie was his favorite was because he felt like the unwanted attention directed itself to the tie instead. Today felt like a perfect summer evening to eat his food outside for the 30-minute break he earned after working over-the-clock shifts for a steady decade at the same office that barely noticed him. He's had multiple general managers come and go without remembering his name. Herbert took that as him being great at his position and never being late on paperwork. One time he called in sick and the boss asked, "Who?" when he stated his name and why he wasn't able to come into work today. Herbert found a park bench and ate his sandwich under tree shade. A butterfly flapped around him, landing on his shirt's cuff. The butterfly had unique, intricate patterns across its wings. On top of both wings looked like heliotrope velvet eyes, and between its hind legs had black, sharp markings outlined in white. The insect's body was plump and color-coded with thin waves that blended together and reminded Herbert of spilled oil. But what really stood out was how hairy it had been. He took a bite of his cold-cut combo sub sandwich and made eye contact with its purple grape-like eyes that took up almost its entire head. Its antennas tickled the back of his thumb. Herbert suddenly felt a sharp poke as the butterfly released its proboscis and began injecting a strange hair particle into his hand.
"Ow!"
Herbert moaned, shaking his hand free from the butterfly. It flapped its wings as all 6 legs tucked underneath its hairy body. He watched perplexed while it flew away past a large bush. 10 minutes passed while Herbert took his time admiring the park view of families, trees, other insects, a squirrel couple playing tag, and he imagined it to be him and Joanne in another life. He always liked the architecture of the park. They had a decent-sized playground and a small stone bridge built over a pond before the hiking trail. He took another bite of his cold-cut combo and felt something on his tongue. After swallowing well-chewed bites, he still felt it. He looked around, made sure no one was looking, and then plucked a piece of hair out his mouth. Herbert sighed without overreacting. Teenagers working fast food either need the money badly or they are learning responsibility. He wasn't the confrontational type, the type to make a fool out of themselves asking for a manager. Everyone starts from somewhere, and those little girls are just, well, little girls. He took another bite, suppressing the discomfort from the hair last bite. What do you know? This time, 2 hairs was on his food.
Good golly, Miss Molly, did you brush your hair on my sandwich?
He thought, this time more tempered. 1 hair, fool Herbert once, but now 3 hairs in total had been pushing it. He decided if there was 1 more hair, those girls had to learn a lesson about doing a job right and cleanliness. Herbert concentrated hard on the half-eaten sandwich and seen nothing wrong. Not 1 string of hair. He even opened the sandwich and looked over the ingredients. There was mayonnaise as the sauce topping. No way a hair isn't going to be visible to the naked eye. He took a slow chomp and chewed slowly, focusing on each texture.
That's it!
He slammed down the sandwich and pulled a long strain of hair from between his teeth. Herbert felt insulted on many levels. He was balding, and those girls were the only ones around his meal with hair, giggling as if food paid by hard-working money doesn't matter.
They were laughing at the tie. No, they were laughing at me,
he muttered, marching back to Sublime Subs to give their manager a piece of, not hair, his mind. Both girls leaned by the back beverage cooler, texting on their cell phones. Herbert was calming down on his way to the door until he heard their stupid girly giggles again. They were texting 2 boys named Travis and Reese, who had a garage cover band that played songs more fitting for the younger folks, not people old as Herbert. But he took those giggles like a gunshot wound and approached them as aggressively as he could.
Hello? I'd like to talk to your manager,
he said with a higher tone than usual, which was slightly over plain spoken. The girls didn't hear or notice him. Herbert was about to speak again until more hair between his teeth caught his tongue. He opened his mouth, trying to pull it from his gums, but immediately regretted it.
What the heck?
He thought, not daring to curse. Underneath his shirt's cuff, there had been hair growing on his wrist and palm. Herbert went to talk again, but this time to get help. The girls dropped their phones as this strange older man, who must have been crazy, started banging against the glass divider where all the food was made. At first, judgmental, then completely terrified. Herbert had a mouth full of hair, blocking his breathing passage. His face went black and blue as the hair continued to grow rapidly. Muffled cries came from Herbert when a tooth, wrapped in hair, pulled out of his bleeding gum. The girls called the police, reporting a man suffocating himself with balls of hair like a cat. A customer walked in Sublime Subs and immediately left when Herbert fell over, taking the cash register with him. Herbert Smith, age 45, white, death from asphyxiation of unknown causes. Unfortunately, many people went to that same park Herbert visited, and over 14 counts of death occurred. 6 children, 8 adults. What happened? Well, further in that park, covered by vegetation, caterpillars have been feasting on an undiscovered plant that has similar hair as the mysterious butterflies. A secret government organization that goes by Project Gaia captured this new species of plant and removed it from public contact. They have no idea on why this plant grew in a random side town in Colorado, but they did find evidence of what might be its roots, literally. The plant, now labeled as viral tress, might have came from a planet unknown to humanity, but scientists have a theory that it was attached to a meteor for over 763 years and landed on Earth. Now, why this plant came all the way here is unexplained. Maybe its home planet went extinct and this plant made it out alive. Another scientist fears it's a part of an invasion, and maybe beings of higher intelligence know we as humans would use such things insignificant as this as a weapon. No matter how many questions come up, Project Gaia secretly roams the country, searching for other organisms, such as viral tress.
What's an intriguing story? That was Hairy Teeth, written and copyrighted by Raymond M.T. Cummins. I hope you enjoyed this frequency. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you on another episode of Gravestone Files.
Hey, I am author Raymond M.T. Cummins, the head writer of Gravestone Files. If you really like these short stories on this radio station, then you might like my new novel coming out, Floor 98. I guarantee you it is a lot more darker and intense than any story that has been released on Gravestone Files. And honestly, it'd really mean a lot if you could just purchase the novel, rather if you do a paperback or a Kindle. Either way, it shows support for this channel and it just shows support to me as an author. The Kindle edition is only $3.99 and is already available for pre-order on Amazon. Now the paperback won't be out until June 24th, exactly midnight. I try to get it available for pre-order, but that has been difficult. But the paperback does exist. I will have visuals for it right now. It is mind-blowing to have my work in physical media, and it has always been a dream of mine to own my stories in the palm of my hand. But yes, thank you to everyone for the support on my writing. Rather, if you read my 2023 novella, The Brobdingnagian Devourer of Children, which will be recorded for this channel in the future, or if you just support the stories on Gravestone Files, and of course, if you're planning to support this new novel that I've put a lot of work into. Yes, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, or have a good night, wherever you may be. I hope all is well. I hope you are doing okay in these tough times, and I hope that these stories can give you some type of escape when things are hard. Signing out, Raymond M.T. Cummins.